Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are excited to have a little bit of time here to talk about some different things in the cyber insurance industry. There's a lot going on that I'm seeing, and I while I like to talk about cyber insurance a lot, I wanted to bring Reid Wellock, our president, in on the video too because he's a wealth of knowledge and he likes to talk just as much as I do. So, Reid, welcome to the call.
True statement. I will do my best to keep this as brief as possible, but I do like to talk, and you get me going on insurance. I'll talk a lot, but
We only have like
happy to
20.
be here, Will.
Yeah,
Thanks for
perfect.
having me.
We only have like 20 minutes anyway, so
Cool.
it's probably good to keep it somewhat succinct. So Reid, today I want to talk about these actually. Do you know what this is?
Mm, that's an orange.
That's a lemon.
It's a
And
lemon.
the reason I bring it up, when life gives you lemons, what is a warranty? We see a lot about cyber warranties. I feel like I said it to you
Mhm.
earlier. I feel like every vendor under the sun is coming out with a cyber warranty that covers you from uh, cyber breaches. And I guess there's a lot of questions around it. So it's just, you have to read the
Sure.
fine
Yeah.
print for every single one, right? But I'm kind of likening it to, in New York State, and it's kind of like this across the country, I know, but most states at this point have lemon laws on used cars, right? So if you go and buy a used car and it breaks down, an auto dealer is required to have some length of time that they will reimburse you for the cost of the car. It's
Yep.
a warranty, right? It's the kind of thing where it says, hey, if our product fails, then we will kick in this warranty so that you won't be, you won't lose your purchase and you're not going to be out all this money for buying something
Right.
that didn't work. So is a cyber warranty kind of the same thing?
So, uh, yeah, in a way. So, warranties right now are really popular. Let me kind of explain first why they're popular, and then we can talk about like what are they, because I think they're related. Um, they're becoming very popular right now because there's a lot of demand in the marketplace for, call it insurance products, but for somebody to offer to back it, right? They want to
Yeah.
back their service, they want to provide some sort of solution, right? And the we'll get to this later, but the real solution is if you can provide actual insurance policy, which is like your full net, then that's what you want to strive for. But the market conditions right now are making it really, really, really difficult to create new insurance products. You have high demand and still very low supply. So what a lot of reinsurers look at, so they look at warranties as a very viable path, because for them, they're not really looking at the end result of the product. They're more concerned about how much risk am I actually taking on, right? So a warranty is nice because it can still provide a very purpose built purpose, right? Which is to be a warranty for something specific, and it isolates out of risk, right? So rather than go out and say, hey, like FifthWall wants to create a new insurance product, oh, hard task. But if FifthWall said, you know what, we actually want to bring a warranty to this specific part of the process that's related to this specific exposure, and it's tied to this specific peril. Now, me as a reinsurer, I go, oh, okay, well, that's more doable because I don't feel like I'm as exposed than you coming out with a big program. So, what a warranty really is they're providing um, a warranty on the service of either a product, a service specifically, and the intention is to isolate, right? So the
Okay.
intention is to say, all right, we want to be looking at this area specifically. Um, what it comes down to is always in the T's and C's, right? So I'll always say that is like a disclaimer, but it really does isolate it. And you can word a warranty very similar to an insurance policy in a way, but there's always going to be similar things in terms of like, well, what triggers the warranty,
Yeah.
and is that going to be, is that airtight, right? Because the nice thing about insurance policies right now is they're worded very broadly, whereas a warranty kind of is looking to the opposite. They're looking to word things very finitely. So they're saying, look, for this specific thing, for this purpose, this is where we're going to come in and pay out dollars if something fails or malfunctions or causes a disruption, so on and so forth.
That makes sense, and it's it. Now I'm likening it back to cars again because we've all gotten that phone call where it says, "I'd like to call you about your car's extended warranty," right? But you think of a warranty, right? A lemon law, we can talk about that, or a lemon warranty says, "Hey, we're going to reimburse you for the cost of the car if something goes wrong in the next 3 months or whatever the length of the warranty is, but they're not going to cover the cost of your car if a deer runs into your car, right?
Right.
It's not covering a full scope of different things that could happen. It's saying, hey, if the car itself just fails, then we'll cover it. So I guess
Right.
do vendors then tend to tie these cyber warranties where they say, hey, look, if our endpoints are get breached, then we will cover, our warranty will kick in. Is it something like that? Is this just more you need to read the fine print? You really need to know
Yeah,
exactly
you want to
where
read
that
the fine
coverage
print,
kicks
but
in.
what I know about, talking to a lot of the reinsurance brokers and how they view warranties, which is why they find it appealing, which is why we're seeing such a surge in the market, right? So if you go to
Mhm.
the source to understand, like, well, why are these being created and who's creating them? Well, let's talk to them and say, why do they find this to be a good path? Um, yeah, it's not meant to be a catch-all. It's meant to, they kind of, they want to reverse engineer it, but they say, like, does a specific product actually protect, reduce, mitigate risk for this type of event or exposure?
Okay.
Right. So they're not looking, for example, if it's like an EDR product, MDR, whatever it may be, and we know that, okay, that's tied to, like, maybe what would be the result of like a ransomware event,
Mhm.
or maybe they're going to tie it to business interruption expense, right? Because that tool really is built to identify and give a lot of the, you know, I'll say on the IR side of things, that's the information we want to get and allows us to act quickly. And if I'm taking on risk, I go, okay, that makes sense, right? So if there's a failure, not even a failure in the product, but there's a breach, so to speak, and this person has that product, we would expect the risk to be low, right?
Yeah.
Now, is that warranty going to cover like funds transfer loss or social engineering, things that has nothing to do with the product? Absolutely not. Is that part of your cyber risk as a whole? 100%. So
Yeah.
it's not the warranties are bad; they're just very purpose built.
Right. So, like we say, when life gives you lemons, it's about the warranty. Now, we talked about a lot of the good stuff. It's covering you from specific exposures that, this product's on here, your risk is a little mitigated, or maybe the response itself might not, or the disaster itself might not be as far reaching because you have this particular product on your network, something like that. But what's the not so good stuff, right? So, make life
Yeah.
take the lemons back. So, what's the not so good stuff about a warranty then?
So first of all, you could say this about some insurance products too.
Hmm.
It's all about how it's written. So like this is the reality is the bad comes from bad products. You can have a bad insurance product, you have a bad warranty, and you can have a warranty that's written in a way it's really not meant to pay out. I'm not going to mention names, but we've seen those. We've seen them where we go, wow, if you look through this, the amount of things that actually have to line up for this warranty to
Yeah.
actually go into effect, it is like a 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 1 million chance. Like this isn't helpful,
Hmm.
right? Um, versus some that are worded much differently and they're actually meant to do their job. Um, like I said, there's insurance products out there that do the same thing. So I'm not trying to say warranties are bad. I'm saying though that traditionally, whenever you look at them, they're not written in a way that benefits the client, right? Um, so I would say the second piece of it is warranties are often, I'll say, they're not good only because maybe the perception isn't lined up. Because you have maybe an end user or client and the perception of what this is does not line up to the reality of what it actually is, right?
Yeah.
Because we hear warranty, and if someone says, "Hey, I got a warranty on this product," we're like, "Cool." Well, so like if it breaks, you have a warranty, yeah. But then you look at the T's and C's, and it's like, oh, but it only breaks in if it breaks in these specific ways, right?
Yeah.
So they can be dangerous, very similar to the way a policy could be, but like we just don't see that anymore in the policy world,
Yeah.
right? You can't survive as a carrier, a front or reinsurer if you have the type of those types of products out there.
I
People
mean,
won't buy them. They
as
become
you
too
brought up at
educated.
the last conference, I mean, a carrier, based on their policies, like a carrier doesn't really want to have to deny a claim because that's bad press for them, right? So
Exactly.
you need to really, I mean, they're not creating these policies, at least the comprehensive ones. They're not creating these policies to be super restrictive on what's going to pay out. There are certain, guidelines and measurements that you have to meet before the policy would kick in, but at the same time, I think with a warranty and a policy, I mean, the important piece on either one is you need to read the fine print, but the fine print is often very very fine to the point where you need it's like doing your income taxes. I should not need to have an accounting degree to be able to do my taxes, but
Right.
apparently I do. So it's that level where it's this is something I'm buying for my business, but I have no way of really knowing what's in this. And that's part of I mean, you can, the paper's right in front of you, right? You signed the contract, but having someone actually explain it to you is really important.
Yeah, and I think understanding the spirit of the product. Like the
Mm,
spirit right now of a warranty traditionally is meant to be very focused.
sure.
Again, it's not bad, but if you have the expectation that it's going to cover you, I mean, especially something like cyber where it's very dynamic and it's multifaceted, the ways that you can be affected. Um, do you want me to take off the hat and glasses so people
No,
can see?
I just wanted you to get derailed for a minute. It's always fun.
Yeah, thanks, thanks. Well, let me. I'm good. Trust me, I'm on. You have narrow focus where insurance right now is very broadly worded,
Yep.
right? It's purpose built to be the safety net. So,
So yeah, I mean
ah,
that's the question. I want to hit this
yeah.
before time's up here. We
So,
we've kind of danced around it, but
yeah,
what is the difference between the two? What are we looking at?
it's all how they're written, but like, I guess to kind of hit that nail with the hammer one more time is one is very purpose built traditionally, right? If someone comes out with one that is incredibly broad, I want to see it. I want to read it, and I want to understand it. But what I've read and understood thus far is that you will see it's very specific and it's very narrow in what it is that they're looking to cover. That's not a bad thing if you're an informed buyer and you know what you're buying and what that warranty is for. Now, if you are looking at managing your risk, so you're a business owner, and you and I are risk advisors, right? We're licensed. We're to have this conversation with a business owner and say, all right, let's talk about how we mitigate. Let's talk about how we transfer risk, all of these different tactics. Is a warranty a good way to transfer risk? Well, with cyber, it can be a very dangerous play because of what I just said, because of
Mhm.
cyber is very, very different. So, like the analogy I would give is like if you owned a home and in that home you had a sprinkler system, right? And sprinkler company saying, look, if for whatever reason you have a fire, we got you covered, right? Because this sprinkler system is meant to put out fires. Awesome, cool. Now, should I have the confidence to say, you know what? I don't need a homeowner's policy now. No, because did we talk about flood? Did we talk about wind damage, storm damage? Did we talk about, an earthquake? No, we didn't talk about any of those things. So that's what I mean, where it's not that it's a bad thing, but the difference between insurance policies, warranties, and insurance policies trying to look at what is it that you are exposed to, right? Almost a 360-degree exposure. And what are we willing to take on to
Mhm.
say, here's your safety net, right? Or warranty is saying, all right, what is this thing actually doing? What is its purpose? And we want to go ahead and cover you around what this thing can control.
It's awesome. And I do want to talk about the lemon in the room and not this lemon. There's one other piece with warranties. I had to do it. There's one other, there's one other piece about these cyber warranties that I am curious about, and it's the fact that they are vendor tied. So hey, as long as you
Mhm.
use our product, you have this warranty, or you can also get this warranty if you use our product. Whatever the approach is that they use, right? But as soon as you no longer have that product, the warranty is now void, right? You voided the warranty. So it's just that's one of the things I mean, FifthWall is vendor neutral, so we're not pushing any singular vendor or anything like that. So it just
Right.
makes me wonder, okay, let's say you're using this vendor, now all of a sudden you want to shift to another one, you no longer have that warranty product. So there is that a potential challenge too? Just the fact that you're kind of binding yourself to one particular solution because of that particular warranty. I mean, just versus an
Yeah.
insurance carrier, which is not necessarily vendor tied. You can go to an agent, you can come to FifthWall, you can do whatever you want to get that policy through different insurers. You're not bound to that insurance company. There's other options for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think one, you have, let's just say the conditional requirements are very broad. So an insurance policy typically is saying, look, we need to see that you have these things in place. Okay. And actually some are, they mention vendors, but like, don't even get me started on that. But they're still staying in the lane of we just, you still have freedom as a consumer to move about how you want to move about. Like, there may be a reason that you want to move from this EDR provider to this EDR provider,
Sure.
right? You should have that freedom of choice. Okay. With a warranty, yeah, it's dangerous because of what you just said. And it gets more dangerous too if there's just a lack of education all around, right? So, like, um, I would never want to see a sales rep tell an end client, hey, rely on this warranty, or this is, put your eggs
Sure.
in this basket. Like, that's dangerous.
Sure.
I'd rather it be like, hey, we're really confident about our tool. Like, we're so confident, right? We're putting our money where our mouth is. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I love it. People should like want to see confidence in what they're doing. It's just, how are we recommending an end consumer to manage the risk? That's the difference. That's, to me, the lemon in the room that we'll see with all these warranties. What's the narrative around them? What's the marketing around them? And what are they calling themselves? Because if they
Yeah.
start to call themselves insurance,
Yeah.
that's bad. That's just bad form, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's where they're different.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with insurance. You talk about education, being educated on what's in your warranty. I mean, in the same way, what's in your policy, there's not, we say it all the time, not all policies are created equal. So it's understanding what your coverage is, what you're covered for, when your coverage kicks in. There's insurance, there's good insurance, there's bad insurance, there's good warranties, there's bad warranties. But it's the understanding of the marketing behind it, the language used behind it, not confusing. And I think this was the whole reason I wanted to make this video, is the key point of not confusing a warranty with an insurance policy. They're not the same
Right.
thing. And
They're not.
I mean, even if you Google cyber warranties, I mean, the number of vendors that come up that say the first cyber warranty, or we offer a cyber warranty with our package, right? There, a lot of them are doing it. Um, and they do offer good protection as long as the form is good, but it's not a replacement for insurance. It could work together in tandem, yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, and that's actually a good point. They could work together in tandem, and there could be a strategy to say, all right, if we're going to go ahead and look at, the overall risk, what do we, where is it that we want to try to control and reduce the risk, right? And you
Yeah.
might be a business that has genuine concerns over specific areas, right? So then you want to be working with a risk advisor that's going to say, okay, let's look at the T's and C's of that warranty and make sure it can address these parts and pieces. And if there's any holes, or there's any other areas of the business that we still need to protect, we can look to the insurance world. That's awesome. That's the way, like, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
As, again, a really well educated and informed consumer can make those decisions. And again, like, to a vendor that wants to have a warranty, more power. Like, that's awesome. Like, again, it's not a bad thing.
Mhm.
It's a good thing to have confidence in your product. It's just how you describe that and what the end consumer might be assuming is where you really want to be clear and make sure you're articulating what this is and what this is not.
That
So,
that makes a
and
lot
to
of
get
sense.
really serious, hat and glasses come off, and now I'm Will's evil twin.
If I put my AirPods in, oh man, it'd be over. I got the Apple Watch, you got the Apple Watch. Oh man.
So, if anything, I'll keep you on board, Will, for your looks alone. That's, you got that going for you.
I'm glad it's not a requirement to not have hair to work at FifthWall, but I'm not saying I don't I'm
It,
glad I don't have it or
it
something.
might help. It might help.
Yeah. So
Gives me
a-
confidence.
anyway, thanks everyone for jumping in. Hope this was informative to you. Again, if you're a if you're using a product that has a warranty, just know what's in it. Understand what it is. Understand how it
Yeah,
works. Understand the differences. We just wanted to create this because we know it's being talked about a lot in the channel right now. But yeah, any other final thoughts, Reid?
I don't want lemonade.
I don't know.
I actually
Subliminal messaging, my man.
I would love a sandwich because I'm starving.
You know what goes really good with a sandwich? A tall glass of melonade.
Another
Fluffy
sandwich.
puff marshmallows. If anyone
Okay,
gets that
well,
reference, you're my favorite person on the
we
channel, man.
digress. Anyway,
Anyway, cool. All right, catch y'all later.
all right. Thanks, everyone.